I caught up with Indian Ambassador to Japan, Sibi George, and began by asking him about the significance of the Prime Minister's visit to Japan at this juncture.
India and Japan, we have excellent relationship. Today, our relationship, what we call special strategic and global partnership. This is an agreement which our Prime Minister and the then Prime Minister of Japan, Mr. Abe, entered into in 2014. It has been more than 10 years since then. During this 10-year period, we have seen significant progress in our relationship. The entire spectrum of relationship possible between two countries. When you say special, it is indeed a special partnership. It is special strategic and global partnership. In each of these areas, we have made significant progress. And this visit would undertake a full review of the progress we have made. And of course, it will come up with a new roadmap to take our relationship forward to new high levels.
Right. If I were to ask you about the agenda, could you give us some of the major economic, defense, strategic items on the agenda?
See, each of these areas which you mentioned, we would be having discussions on that and come up with a roadmap to take it forward. For example, on the economic side, if you look at it, Japan has always been a very important partner in India's economic progress. 40 years ago, Suzuki came and transformed India's automobile sector. We have seen its growth in Japan's involvement in India's growth at various sectors. Today, when we are working towards what we call an Amrit Kal period, we consider Japan as an important partner, a reliable partner in our developmental journey towards 2047. When you look at the economic factors, there are several factors. The new and high-end technology, of course, our traditional trade and business engagement. There are 1,500 Japanese companies in India today. There are more than 5,000 Japanese business establishments in India. These are 1,500 success stories. We would like to have a quantum leap in our relationship, in our economic relationship. India is the fourth largest economy in the world, growing 6.5 to 7% growth. It is an opportunity for Japan. So we would be focusing on our traditional economic relationship and also new technology like semiconductors, like quantum computing, critical technology, critical minerals. There are so many areas, space technology, science and technology, innovation, so many areas we would be working together during this visit and also have a roadmap to take it forward.
Ambassador George, when you said that we were looking for a quantum leap in our economic relations, could you give us a sense the quantum of trade between the two countries right now? And what will be the conversation? What is the ambition that could be laid out during the visit and the meeting of the two prime ministers for the next 10 years?
See, when you look at our relationship today, as I said, we have these 1,500 Japanese companies. These are 1,500 success stories. These companies have come to India, invested in India, and participated in India's program for Make in India and also now Make for the World. You take any company, say, for example, the Suzuki company. It came to India, established well. Now Suzuki cars are being made in India, for India, but also for the world, for Africa, for Japan itself. Suzuki cars are coming here. So this is the model which we can apply to many other sectors. And now we are seeing it in other sectors like, for example, the air conditioning sector. Daikin company is doing exactly the same thing. Invest in India, make in India, bring technology, work together with the Indian market, Indian skilled workers and technology in India, and also make in India for the world. This is a success story which we can replicate in many sectors, including in the new and critical technology sectors.
Right. What would be some of the key agreements and MOUs that could be signed during the visit?
Oh, that would be. I can tell you that we are looking at a very important MOUs and joint declarations covering the entire spectrum of relationship. See, as I said, 10 years is an important period to undertake a full review, and that review will be undertaken, and the roadmap, the vision document for the next 10 years would be released.
vision document for the next 10 years would be released. I would also like to ask you, you touched upon critical minerals, sir. Currently, of course, there was a problem that the Indian industry was facing because of China's restrictions on rare earth magnets. Even as that situation is now improving, there have been certain positive messaging between India and China. But when it comes to possibly sourcing high rare earth magnets from Japan, are there any conversations? Could there be any kind of agreement on that front?
I would not like to comment specifically on the specific discussions which would be undertaken by the leaders, but I can tell you that since two important leaders of two big countries, two major countries in Indo-Pacific are meeting at a very significant, very important time in geopolitical and geoeconomics situation today, I'm sure that a series of issues related to critical technology, critical minerals and other issues will come up during the discussions.
Right. On the defense side, what is your expectation? Are we going to see some MOUs, closer collaboration on defense manufacturing?
If you look at India-Japan relationship, you can see that in the last few years, there has been significant progress in our defense engagement. All the three major exercises, actually four major exercises, Navy, Air Force, Army, and Coast Guard exercises have been taking place between the two countries regularly. We have also had a regular engagement at the political level, including the defense ministers. We had the 2+2 meeting, foreign minister and defense minister meeting last year. The defense minister of Japan visited India in May this year. So a series of engagements have taken place. And of course, one of the important point of discussion at each of these meetings is how do we work together for defense technology cooperation and also defense equipment cooperation.
Right. You know, the Ministry of External Affairs has said that there is some sort of discussion going on between the navies and also on shipbuilding. Could you throw some light on that, sir, as to what kind of a collaboration we're looking at over the next 5 to 10 year period?
Yeah, this is one of the areas we are discussing. As I said, in defense technology areas, there is a series of collaborations which we are working on. The Ministry of External Affairs had pointed out in the briefing about the unicorn, the antenna for the Navy ships. So that is one of the areas we are working together and making progress. There are other areas related to shipping as well we are making progress.
Ambassador, you interact with Indian and Japanese companies on a daily basis. If we were to ask you about areas of interest where India is closely seeking investments from Japan, FDI from Japan, what would those be? And do you see some important FDI announcements in the pipeline, maybe not during this visit, but in the coming months?
Maybe during this visit itself.
Okay, could you give us some color on that?
No, what I was trying to say is that in our economic engagement, it is a mutually beneficial partnership. We have seen success stories. And Japan, at every corner of this country, there is a growing realization that India is an opportunity. In 2022, Japan had agreed to invest to the tune of 5 trillion yen in the next 5 years, that is by 2027. I am happy to note that we have already made significant progress in that investment, public-private partnership investment, which has happened since 2022. Till date, we have reached a very important milestone in that investment program. Now we are looking at further investment. And also, let's not forget, India is in the process of becoming a manufacturing hub for the world. And Japan is a country based on industry. They would like to use India as a manufacturing hub also for their exports to other countries like Africa. Recently, I participated in the TICAD meeting, and one of the important announcements during the TICAD meeting related to Africa was that India will be developed as a manufacturing hub for export to Africa.
Right. I'd also like to ask you about the bullet train project. There have been meetings in the run-up to the Prime Minister's visit, and both sides are discussing developments related to the Shinkansen bullet train project to connect Ahmedabad and Mumbai. Are some timelines clear now, and are we expecting some announcements on this during the Prime Minister's visit?
Japan has always been a partner of India in our infrastructure projects, many projects. You are aware of that. And one of the projects is the MAHSR project, which we have been working on. All that I can tell you is that in 2027, there will be a train running in that sector.
2027, we'll have a train running in that sector. Okay, that's important. I would also like to ask you about the conversation around tariffs. How will India and Japan now work more closely together, trade more closely together in the context of the global trade war situation?
See, I already mentioned that in this geopolitical, geo-economic situation, India and Japan, being very important countries, would discuss every aspect related to that geopolitical, geo-economic situations. So I would like to leave it at that.
Okay, my final question, sir, would be about cooperation on the Indo-Pacific. Of course, both the Prime Ministers will discuss the Quad. How do you see India and Japan taking cooperation for the Quad Summit forward? Because right now, we're not very clear as to whether we will have a Quad Summit this year or not. The dates are yet to be announced. But overall, what is the kind of push do you expect for the Quad in this meeting?
See, when we talk about India-Japan relationship, it is a special, strategic and global partnership. It has bilateral elements in it. It has also plurilateral elements in it. And on the plurilateral part, we have a few, forums like what you mentioned, Quad, we have G4, we have G20. In fact, my Prime Minister was a guest at the G7 summit, which was held in Hiroshima in 2023. So we participate, we actively cooperate, we work together in many of these forums, plurilateral for us. And one of them is Quad. And Quad is four like-minded countries came together, important countries in the Indo-Pacific region for peace, stability, and prosperity in Indo-Pacific and beyond. We have a concrete, positive agenda for Quad. So each of our countries, India and Japan, consider Quad as a very important factor in our plurilateral relationship, and it will continue to be like that.
On final